Alright, what's up guys? This is gonna be a relatively quick video. Just gonna go over the patch notes really quick. Um, Not a lot in this patch. There's two main things. We've got Druid nerf and Cleric nerf, and so really I'm just gonna be talking about those two things. But obviously I will go over everything just to be thorough. Fix an issue that caused crashes. Fix the cause of minor client performance degradation. I really hope this fixes my issues because I have FPS drops. That's kind of weird. Because there's a couple things in the game that have been causing FPS drops, like I mean that have been for a while. Things like hasting multiple people and that type of thing. There's a lot of particle effects usually, but maybe they'll fix that. Fix an issue where sound is not played in the raft spawns and ice caves. This was kind of annoying actually. It's actually pretty good fix, but that was pretty annoying when that happened. Fix an issue where clerics locust swarm cannot damage monsters. Fix an issue where the hitbox left by the corpses summon monsters could block projectiles. This is big. This is actually pretty big. So a lot of when people read projectiles, a lot of what they're thinking is like what's it called? They're like arrows and stuff. No, this matters for spells. I've seen clerics heal or protection or bless or divine strike or whatever dead mobs so many times. So many times. Fix an issue where the second attack from swap weapon could be activated for throwing a torch. Fix an issue where the frost on torch glow effect was stronger than intended. Fix an issue where the unique grade hatchet had incorrect movement speed. Fix an issue that druids were in. Okay, so fix an issue that druids were incorrectly able to wear the ruby silver cuirass. So I assume this means they cannot wear it now, and they were never supposed to be able to. Fantastic, because this didn't make any sense, and it was broken as hell. Fix an issue that druids incorrectly able to use the silver crafted short swords. That didn't matter. Fix an issue where druids were unable to use the silver crafted daggers. Fix an issue where druids were unable to use Lightbringer. You can't even craft this. I don't even know why this matters. Why is it, unless they changed the recipe for this, which I don't think they did, you still can't craft this. Fix an issue where flickering occurred in a lobby when the player's equipment or ready status was updated. I don't know what that means. Is that like they say flickering? Is that like yeah, I have no idea. Whatever. Okay, now to the actual changes. So, Cleric's Faithfulness now has a 3-second cooldown after activation. What this means is, if Faithfulness applies the slow to someone, then it goes on cooldown for 3 seconds before the slow can be applied again. Cleric's Smite attribute bonus ratio changed from 100% to 75%. Okay, so if you are a knower and you know anything about this game, I don't have to explain to you what I'm about to explain, but I'm going to do it anyways. This doesn't mean anything. These nerfs are completely. Okay, that's not fair. These nerfs are about 95% irrelevant and will not change how strong Cleric is in the meta at all. So, two reasons. One, for the Smite attribute bonus, this only changes the scaling with Smite. It used to scale with 100% of your magic power bonus and add magic damage and all that shit. Now it scales with 75%. You didn't build magic damage to begin with. So the only thing this is really changing from is if you have what's it called? If you have like your whatever your magic power bonus is and the 15% from faithfulness, which didn't matter to begin with, because 15% it was only 1.5 extra damage. You were getting like 20-30% magic power, which is like 2 or 3, which is still pretty irrelevant because you're still getting 75% of that. And ideally, you built true physical anyways. You didn't really want to build true magical. So this is pretty, like I said, this change right here is almost entirely irrelevant. The actual amount of damage that this is going to reduce is probably like 2 or 3, like tops, right? The only thing this really nerfed is if you're going to use Magic Staff. If you're using Magic Staff, this nerf's a bit stronger and it's going to get up to like 5 or 6 damage a hit. Overall, still not a ton. But if you're using just the normal Morningstar build, this is so little. For reference, I was running kit earlier, and my on the dummy, I was hitting for like 14 magic damage, right? And 10 of that is just the base damage from Smite, so I'd be hitting for 13, which is from 14 to 13. That's not like, yeah, technically it's a nerf. I mean, not really though. Like 1 damage probably isn't gonna change much. And this faithfulness change here. So the thing is, if you're in melee with a character, like another cleric, for example, the slow doesn't really matter. They're not running away from you. You're not running from them. If you're hitting them, they're probably not getting away. And for a squishy, you only need the first activation because they're going to die to the second hit most of the time, anyways. The amount of times I've hit somebody with smite popped and they like a squishy that isn't like a frontline, like a cleric fighter, barbarian or something, or a bard. The amount of times I've hit them with the first hit of a smite Morningstar and they lived after the second hit are I could probably count it on one hand. This doesn't really matter. This only really matters if you're running like Holy Strike or Judgment or something, because you apply it, you swap over, and you can't apply it with your Smite, but that's not really the main build. That's the problem in the meta. The main build is just your Smite frontline cleric that's running up, popping Smite, hitting you and killing you because you can't go anywhere. And like I said, this is still going to be a thing. And it's not even really a 3 second cooldown, right? Because the Faithfulness Slow lasts for 1.5 seconds. So this is effectively only 1.5 second cooldown, which means this is going to proc probably every other hit, depending on how fast you swing. And, debuff duration and shit plays in there a little bit. But overall, this isn't even really 3 seconds. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Cleric is still OP. It's still the best frontline. It's not even remotely close. It's still the best front line by a mile. And these changes just show to me that Iron Mace genuinely has no idea why things are broken and what's broken about it and how to fix it. They literally do not know. If they did, they wouldn't be nerfing the magic damage scaling on Smite and putting Faithfulness on a 3 second cooldown. You want to nerf Faithfulness? Okay, nerf the slow. Just nerf it as a base. Nerf how much it slows. Don't give it an internal cooldown that's completely irrelevant. Don't nerf Smite's magical damage scaling when no one's building magical damage. Everybody's building physical damage for this. Because magical damage is only good for when your Smite's popped. So you know what? You know what you could do? You could build true physical instead, get the exact same value, but it's all the time instead of when Smite's popped. It's not just sometime, it's the entire time you're swinging. But yeah, I mean, just at least one more week of Cleric being the best character in the game. I mean, they didn't nerf healing, they didn't nerf Bard in here anywhere, so Cleric Bard is still the best comp in the game. It's nothing's changed. Literally nothing. The only thing that's changed is Panther. Panther is a bit weaker now because they can't wear Ruby Silver and they get nerfed, which I'm gonna go over in a second, and they get nerfed on their damage and like some stuff like that, right? That's the only thing that's effectively changed. You're gonna see Druids less. Everything else you're gonna see the same. Rogues are still very strong. Clerics are still completely broken. Bard's still strong. Fighter and Barbarian are still really, really bad. Ranger's still really, really bad. It's yeah, is what it is. All right, enough of Cleric. On to Druid. Druid attacks that are triggered beforehand will no longer register after a Dreamwalk is triggered. This is a really big change. If you don't know what this means, basically, imagine you walk up to a Druid and you swing at the same time. You hit him first, his Dreamwalk goes off, he goes invincible, and he was swinging in the animation, or he was in the animation of a swing, and Dreamwalk pops. His hit would still go through and connect with you, even though he's technically like immune. That's what that is. So now the attack wouldn't hit you. When a druid attacks in rat form, the hit slow duration has been changed from 1 second to 0.1 second, and the movement speed reduction has been changed from 20% to -1% for the target. I didn't even know the hit slow is this big for rat form because I'm pretty sure I've never been hit by a rat. But cool, Nice. When a druid attacks in panther form, the hit slow durations would change from 1 second to 0.25 seconds, and the movement speed reductions would change from 20% to -3%. This is big. Before a druid, if you try to run from them, they would literally walk you down and just kill you as you're walking away, and they're swinging at you because the hit slow is so big and they attack so fast. Now, it'll probably still happen because druids are really fast, but not as much. If you're a fast class, it's not going to happen anymore. When a druid attacks in chicken form, the hit slow durations would change from 1 second to 0.25 seconds, and the movement speed reductions would change from -20% to -3% for the target. Uh, Druid's movement speed reduction while attacking in Panther forms would change from 20% to -25%. This is actually funny. They nerfed Druid so hard, but they barely touch Cleric. Druid Panther forms neckbite attribute ratio bonus has been changed from 150 to 125. This means the scaling on like their agi scaling, and so instead of 150% of their agi, it's 125% of their agi now. This is only the what's it called? This is only the neck bite, which I'm pretty sure is their skill, I think. Yeah, it's their skill. So their normal attacks are still going to be doing insane amounts of damage. But that's okay because they don't have Ruby Silver Curious. So a super squishy, easy to kill class should do a lot of damage like that. Druid, Panther forms, neck bite silence duration change from 0.5 seconds to 0.1 seconds. I don't see why this needed to be nerfed. Um, the thing is the silence, like the duration of the silence already wasn't an issue. It's the fact that the silence cancels out all buffs and anything. And it's like a kick, right? If you play like WoW, I think this is like an it's but this is more of an interrupt than a silence. Like a 0.5 second silence is basically irrelevant. It ends almost instantaneously, especially considering things like debuff duration. The really big thing about this is if you have buffs popped, think like Smite Divine Protection, and they silence you, it takes your buffs away. It's not, I don't know if it's supposed to work that way, but I know it does. Um, but yeah, the actual duration of the silence is very irrelevant, so this doesn't really matter. Even though, I mean, it is a nerf, but overall, this isn't really going to change anything. Stinky Sticks Poison Cloud damage change from 6 to 15. Poison Cloud lasts for 12 seconds, can generate up to 3 clouds. Poison Cloud creation chance increase from 15% to 25%, and the Poison Cloud no longer scales. I mean, it's better technically. It's still really bad, but it's better. I don't really care about this. Whatever. Changed so that it takes less time to interact with the corpse of an enemy player that has already been previously interacted with. This is big. This is such a nice change because like if you're looting a body, like say you kill the team and you're like swapping between bodies, it takes like 8 seconds to loot each body. That's really really annoying. But overall, this will make it feel way better. You can hop back on bodies. And for ratting, it don't really matter because if they open the body once, they're gonna take pretty much everything anyways. Item holders now collide more accurately. Um, I'm not sure what this means. I don't know what they mean by item holders. Maybe I'm just not thinking well right now because I just woke up, but I have truthfully no clue what this means. Cool idea. The statue oppressing the Frost Wyvern has been changed so that it can be removed through interaction. So, they did this right here, and also in the community announcements, down here, they said you can no longer team for Frost Wyvern. Um, okay, so I'm gonna say this. I like that you can three man it now. However, this bot three manning this boss is really, really difficult. Not in the sense of like it's hard to kill because like if you play safe, you can dodge its attacks and live, have a cleric, it's not that hard. But it has so much health that it takes forever. Like HR Frostworm is like 7k HP. That shit takes forever to kill. And doing it with three people isn't impossible because I've seen plenty of people do it. Problem is, the one team I've seen actually do it with three people, they used fighter, like barb, which is one of the highest damaging comps you could possibly use outside of like bard, and it still took them almost the entire game. So if they're gonna want people to do this with three people, they're gonna have to lower its HP, I think. It just takes too long. It's not feasible to do. No one's going to be going out of their way to do this. Because now, like when you could do it as a six man, it was like kind of fun. You could do it with your friends. It wasn't that difficult. But doing it as a three man, it's just way too fucking difficult, I think. In the sense of it takes way too long. Like the actual fight itself isn't difficult. It's just the boss has so much HP, it takes way too long to do, more room for mistakes, and if you mess up even slightly, you can't do it. And you pretty much wasted your entire trip down there because that's effectively the only reason you go down there now. But yeah, that'll I'm assuming that'll probably be changed, and I assume the coming weeks or something. But yeah, a simple version of the quest log can be checked in game has been added. That's cool. I mean, great, nice quality of life change. If you forget your quest, you can look at it. Really nice. Really, really good for early wipe or for new players that don't know what quests are, don't remember what their quests are, or if you have too many quests to remember. Gear score is now displayed in the lobby when party members and you are in ready status. This will be updated in the future so it's reflected in real time when an item is equipped. That's cool. You know, that's cool. Community and support link menu has been added to game option. Through this menu, you can submit an inquiry ticket in real time during the game without logging in to the official website. Cool. Hopefully they actually monitor that. It's nice. A product has been added to the shop that allows you to change your account name for 3 redstone shards. It's actually really cheap for an account name change because 3 redstone shards I think is that even like $5 or is like $10? I mean, I don't even think it's $10. Most games will charge you like 10 to 15 to change your account name. That's pretty cheap though. It's pretty cool. But yeah. Overall, some like the Druid see this is what's so funny to me. Like, so they take Druid's ability to wear rubies over curious way. They say it was a bug, whatever, don't care. Whether it doesn't matter whether it's a bug or not. And then you have all of these nerfs here. All of these nerfs. They nerf, wait, my bad. Sorry. All of these nerfs right here. They nerf every single form except bear and what? What was the other form? Chicken. No, they nerf chicken. what's the form of? I guess just bear. Sorry, I was thinking of human as the fifth form. They nerfed every single form except bear in a pretty noticeable way. Like you could say the rat form and chicken form nerfs don't really matter because people aren't really hitting, but regardless, they're still very, very large nerfs if you actually consider it. They they nerfed Dreamwalk, so you can't hit people when you're going into Dreamwalk anymore. They hit him with all of these huge nerfs, and then basically Cleric gets two nerfs that on paper may seem big, but are completely irrelevant. Like I've said this in my last video, and even maybe the one before that. Iron Mace hates to nerf Cleric. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't make sense to me. But look at any patch ever. The amount of times Cleric has ever been quote unquote bad, you could probably count on one hand if there are any at all. Like I genuinely cannot remember a time where Cleric was ever actually bad. This class has almost always, always been top three classes in the entire game, and they just won't nerf it in a meaningful manner. Like it's stupid. Like why? Why do we have to sit here and go through broken ass cleric for another week? This is almost going to be a month that we've had to deal with cleric being completely OP, and they just will not change it. I don't understand it. People are begging, and there's no way that you can like they can be like, "Oh, this is like good enough," right? Because this just seems so out of touch. Like I said, the faithfulness nerf, you know what? Fair, right? I could see what you're going for and why you're trying to do it. That at least like shows some intuitive thinking as to like a real nerf that doesn't remove the ability. But the smite nerf is basically irrelevant. Like I said, no one is building magic damage. Nobody. You don't build magic damage for smite at all. You don't need to. Right? It does like 10 magic damage as a base. You don't need to build any damage. And they nerf the magic damage scaling. So I just don't get it. You know, it just doesn't make sense. They didn't do Morningstar. They didn't nerf any of how, the tankiness perks for Cleric, Perseverance, PFE. They didn't nerf any of these. It's just dumb. They just won't do it. And we're gonna have to go through another week of dealing with double Cleric Bard being completely broken and being the meta comp that everybody's playing until hopefully we get a Cleric nerf next week. And what they're gonna eventually do is the thing is they're gonna have to they're gonna throw all these irrelevant nerfs in at cleric. I say this fingers crossed. Honestly, they're gonna throw all these like irrelevant nerfs in because this is something they've done many times before. They throw all these nerfs that don't do anything in, and then they eventually hit like a spot that actually matters. They hit like one really big nerf, and that nerf would probably bring the class to balance. But then they did all these really small nerfs from multiple patches before, like trying to get it balanced, that whenever they finally hit the big thing that matters, oh, the class is dog shit now because you nerfed all of these other things that didn't really matter, but then you nerfed the one thing and all those little things came back and compiled onto that. And now the class is completely useless. We've seen them do that on multiple occasions. And I mean, honestly, fuck it. I hope it's what happens with Cleric this time. I would be fine with Cleric not being the best character in the meta. Like, it absolutely. But yeah, I'm not gonna bitch about Cleric anymore. This video. That's gonna wrap it up for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.